Yeah, you get me started on my journey of 35 years ago.
Well,
and you'll learn a lot.
This is not a documentary.
Oh, shoot. Okay.
This is just a piece. Look at me the whole time talking.
You got it. My name is Lon Philips. I have been at St. Matthew's, or more correct, I've had my faculties at St. Matthew's as a deacon since January of 21. I started my diaconate journey 20 years ago, started the seminary. This is my 16th year ordained as a deacon, 5 years in Charlotte, wife, a daughter, 2 grandkids, and that's how I got here, because my family's here. When I was a little boy, first grade, second grade, I lived in West Texas because my dad was in the military, so he was out of town. He was in Japan. My grandma says, Lonnie, when you leave this house, there's a dirt road, and if you take a left, that's where the Baptists are. Don't be taking a right, because that's where those Methodists are. So when I was a little boy, I was a Baptist. And then I got older, and all my buddies were at the Methodist church. So Grandma had already died, so I became a Methodist until I married a Catholic. And if anybody's married a Catholic, they know your life changes.
So tell me about Jan and the kids.
All right.
How long have you been married?
All right, this is our 52nd year.
Congratulations.
Yeah, in a row to the same person. That's rare today, you know. Yeah, I've got a daughter and my son-in-law. They live down in Waxhaw, and I've got 2 fantastic grandkids. They're 9 and 11, and we moved here, like I said, 5 years ago. So perfect time to move, because when you're 4 and 5, Nana and Bubba, that's my tag name, Bubba, we matter. But if you had waited till they were teenagers, so we're very happy to be here. I'll be honest with those of us at St. Matthew's. When I first moved here, I said, St. Matthew's, man, it's just too big. I can't move from a little 1,200 family church to a 17,000 family church. But God had other ideas, I literally live a mile and a half away. When I first met Father John, it was a perfect fit. I mean, I'm here for a very good reason, and that's because the Lord wants me here. And we have a tremendous church, and I'm glad to be here. And so, I've always been inquisitive. I think somebody asked me how I got here. I would say, because I've never stopped asking why. I questioned some of and you have to go back 40 years, 50 years, some of the restrictive nature of this particular faith, or just the particulars that I questioned. So I got married, had a daughter, said to my wife, sure, you can send her to CCD, it's no big deal. And then we had to take her to Mass. Didn't understand a thing. I said, priest only talked for 15 minutes. It wasn't an hour and a half. There wasn't 3 songs in between. And I just didn't understand. So this is a true story. We get a bulletin, and the deal was Lindsay would read the bulletin on the way home in the van. So I opened the bulletin, centerfold, left-hand side, was a little note that says, Joe Steckler is starting an adult inquiry class on Wednesday night for those interested to become Catholic or learn about the Catholic faith. I read this, closed the bulletin, handed it to my daughter. That night I said to my wife, Wednesday night, honey, I said, Janice, we've got to go to church. And she looks up and she goes, you're not Baptist anymore. You don't go to church on Wednesday nights. And I said, no. And I showed her the bulletin. I said, we got to go. I want to find out what this is all about. And God knew what he was doing. Joe had one simple rule. You can't miss class. Well, I was traveling internationally, U.S. and Canada, for a couple companies over that time period. I always missed class. I had to, and I say that in quotes, make an office appointment with Joe, sit with him in his office, and discuss the Catholic faith for sometimes 2 hours. It was the best class anybody could possibly take. Because what I learned was, Joe was an ex-priest. He left after Vatican II. So to be honest, I probably learned more about the ins and outs of the Catholic faith and the history of the Catholic faith and the priesthood and post-Vatican II and all that stuff than I dare say he taught in his RCIA class. And I knew I was in the right place. I knew that, and I say this humorously, but I mean it. I literally wandered the desert for 40 years. I was 40 years old when I came into the faith. And that's when I knew I was home.
Why? What was it?
Because I was thoroughly convinced, as truth-filled as the other ecclesial communities, we have the full truth. We truly do. If you really look at what we believe, what we've believed for 2,000 years, where we came from, I challenge pretty much any Protestant to start studying the church fathers and the truths that came out of their writings, and then look at me and say, we're wrong. We're not wrong. We have the full truth, the truth given to us by Jesus Christ. Not denigrating anybody, not attempting to say anything negative about anybody. But I came to that conclusion that I'm home. I'm exactly where I'm supposed to be. Never thinking for a second that I would be a deacon. Guess what? I'm not in charge. It's not about me. He had the plan, and I spent 5 years in seminary, and most of the time not knowing what I was doing. But I'm here because I'm supposed to be. I'm physically at this parish. I'm a deacon for 16 years because I'm supposed to be. It's never been about me. It never will be about me. It's about what I've been called to do. So that's how I got to in your chair in this studio.